ladies and gentlemen, it's Derek here with another video, and today we are installing the front side of the actual catch can. So this is again to address the issue with the Ford Focus ST, which has a direct injection and also a turbocharger. So two big whammies that essentially have an issue with carbon buildup. This one's the Radium engineering catch can, and this one's a lot more expensive. This one is also 6 ounces instead of 3 ounces like the JLT one, which is only 3 ounces. This one is $230 and the JLT one is $130, so pick your poison. This one's fit and finish is a little bit better. I have my laptop here with the instructions on how to do this. There isn't really a good video on YouTube that I can recommend you to, but CJ Pony Parts has a video that does a JLT catch can install, and it's similar but not the same. From what I've read and videos that I've watched, it's actually pretty easy, so it should take you no longer than an hour to do this. But like that rear one, it had a few little janky items that need to be addressed, and I will let you know if I find anything that's a little bit janky with the instructions that come from Radium. And yeah, we'll walk through each of the steps. Okay, so first step is actually removing the negative terminal from the battery, which in the Focus ST, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get to, as you can see here. Remove the battery brace here, remove the positive terminal, and wiggle this baby out. So that's finally out, so yeah. Additionally, the next step is actually removing this coolant line here, and then there's a clip on this right here, which we'll be using to mount the oil catch can. So that was the next step. You want to shove the flathead right in here and then just start prying it out. And then once you have that done, then you can sort of just wiggle it out with your other hand. The latch screw is right here by this spring right here, so that's a 10 millimeter right there. Next step is to actually take off this air duct coupler. So essentially what it wants me to do here is to, let me get my glove on here so I don't get all dirty. That's the point of having these gloves, I guess. Alright, so wants me to take this out here and to bend this around here. So I could probably take this out and then bend it over. Oh, well, that took it out from both sides, so gonna have to put that back in, but removing the intake manifold, and we'll first disconnect the map sensors on the fronts of the plenum. So it shows us this diagram right here. Okay, it's like 2 hours later ish. It's more like 1 hour later, but I finally got the PCB pipe off from the intake manifold. It's on both sides, so one side's actually, I'm not sure what it's called, but one side's attached to the actual engine and one side's attached to the intake manifold. So basically this side is attached to the engine, and it's on this clip here. It's a green clip, and basically what CJ Pony Parts does is they basically use a flathead screwdriver to pry it off, and while you're doing that you're sort of just like yanking as hard as you can. It's freaking difficult to get off. The directions from Radium are taking out a lot more than CJ Pony Parts is actually taking off, so just bear that in mind. You will reuse this clamp to reattach to it. So what the directions actually say, this is what Radium actually supplies you, and it actually says cut it in half. It says two 12-inch sections are ideal, so we can measure these or we can just cut them in half. Next steps are actually hooking this back up to the 2 PCBs and then hooking it up to the actual Radium can. Just to give you a look here, this is into the different cylinders. to actually see there's carbon buildup. There's quite a bit of carbon buildup actually. In all cylinders, so yep, that's where we're at, and this is one of the PCVs, and then there, shining my light on there, that's the other PCV that I got the connector off of, and this is the intake manifold, that's a piece of plastic. So yeah, that's where we're at currently. Alright, so we have, as you can see, our hose. I'm going to measure 12 inches just to abide by our lovely standards that we have here from Radium. I have a pair of scissors, left-handed scissors, and I have a pair of wire cutters. Yeah, scissors definitely cut better. So this is the OEM portion. There's a little bit of oil on there. It should not come off, but I want you to make sure that this thing doesn't come off, so it supplies some clamps with you. It is not gonna come off, I swear. Muscles, Derek, muscles. Oh yeah, there we go. I'm gonna have to put this with a clamp onto that lovely green thing that it was so difficult to get off. So I'm gonna do that now. I'm not gonna really take video of it because it's kind of difficult to get the angle, and it'll be difficult enough to get light on it. So, and this garage isn't really lit up that well. Alright, so I got one of the PCVs in. That's the one going into the actual, to the PCV plate. And this one here needs to go into the intake manifold, which is probably the easier portion. But that is right here. And we're clicked in. Give you a better look at what I'm doing here. This is the radiator mounts. This is basically held in like this. I can't really put it back in, but you get the gist. That's in there. It told me to take this out, and now it wants me to cut one of these things. Not sure which one, but I'll refer to Radium's actual thing. It looks like possibly right here, these two. Basically a little bit more this way. Like maybe like a right here kind of thing. And so the can sit like right down here. Okay, that next step is installing this bracket here. So what is supplied is this 4mm bolt here, and also right here, this 4mm bolts right there. And the way that it works is that the adapter plate goes underneath here, this tab that we took out originally, and that's where the coolant hose went. So this is the coolant portion, and it says we'll reuse it, so I'm not sure if we'll reuse it there or if we'll reuse it somewhere else. And then this is the hood portion, so it says hand tight to begin with, and back here is where that tab I believe I'm going to have to cut is. So I think from this perspective I'll do that last because I don't know how much I'll actually have to cut, and I want to cut the least amount as possible. So this is still currently hanging here, so I need to make sure that I zip tie that down, and yeah, that's where we're at right now. Alright, wants me to put this baby on. I put the side fitting on and lubed it up, lubed the O-ring up with some WD-40, so there we are. And now I need to tighten this up with a 1-inch wrench, which I do not have, so I will continue to use this wrench that I have. Okay, so we're back under the hood here, and basically I was trying to mount the catch can, and when I was mounting it I saw about how much ran into this, so we'll probably need to just cut a piece of this off. And then the other thing that I found out was that this actually needs to be facing this way. So as you can see, that lines up with the screws. That's not lined up, that's lined up. I had to take that little oil dipstick thing so that I can fit this in here. So as you can see, that's lined up, but it just needs to be like maybe a ½ centimeter taken off. So yeah, we're gonna clip that off and then see how it fits. Alright, I have no idea where the frick that went. That's not good. That was stupid. I should have put my hand on the other side of it. Hopefully that went out of the car and not in here. I'm not gonna waste my time finding it. Yeah, my back hurt. My back. I'm old. This is perfectly in there and it's not touching anything. So this should be fairly easy to take off and empty, so that's nice. So what I'm going to do now is screw in the 3mm hex screws into there. There's 4 of them. Okay, so we're at the last bit here. It says to put actually thread locker on this, which I don't have any thread locker, so I'm going to leave it and come back to this like another day and actually put it on later. I also have to mount this baby up with zip ties up to this fan shroud, and I have to also put this intake back, reattach the battery, clean this off, reattach this intake manifold, and yeah, plug everything back in, make sure this also gets put back in because this actually came out and I think that's connected to the intercooler. I just need to make sure that I attach these to the right section. So it looks like here this is attached to the intake manifold. So according to these here directions, so this will hook up to this one here. Not sure how I think I'm gonna face it downwards and then put it up like this, and then this one here that's underneath here, I'm gonna route this way underneath the catch can, not into the fan, and then this will be up here like this. So that's how it'll end up being, so just like that. And yeah, that'll be it for this install. I'll give you an update on when I change it out. That includes that rear one. And yeah, I'll let you know if I broke anything in my car when I drive to work tomorrow. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you like the contents. And yeah, it's freaking 3:10 a.m.